Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would actually start to build something new. It's been a couple weeks for me. I took a little bit of break from building. Got I don't know. After the last build, I got a little burned out, I think, and didn't exactly know what to build, and just wanted to take a little break. Anyway, I got an idea of something to build, and it's for this month's Anvil challenge, which is a very open build thing. Basically, you kind of build what you want to. So I got this bizarre idea to build a platform base that turns into a CV. So that's kind of the idea. So it would have some characteristics to the Makar if you've seen that one, but I wanted to look and be a lot different than that. And it's kind of a weird build here too because I'm not starting with a hull on this one. Essentially, it's going to be a lot of different components that I'm going to be building, and then building a frame to attach those components to. Is a general idea of this build project. So it's a little different than I normally would build something. So anyway, basically I threw a CV spawner or starter block here and built up a little pedestal so I can start working on it. But let me turn on symmetry. Now I'm going to be building parts. The first parts I want to build actually is like these big, I don't know if you'd call them landing gear. Basically like extensions that would come down from the platform to hold it up, also land it, but also I want those extensions to hold future thrusters. Now, when I say this is going to start as a base, in other words, it's going to be a fairly inexpensive build to spawn in, and you can use it as like a base when you first go with it, and then you can add in CV parts later, such as thrusters and all the things to make it a flyable ship, basically. Just like the Janus or the Makar, basically. So that is the general idea. So first thing I want to do here is a lot of these blocks are going to be temporary, but I wanted to kind of come out here a little bit so I can have a starter position out on the side here. And I want to actually build a thruster unit. Now, these parts will be copied and pasted where they're going to end up going eventually. And I couldn't really say yet where all these things are going to be going to. But also I wanted to keep this like one block off the ground here too, at least. Okay, so I don't really know how this is going to come out either. I've never really tried to build anything quite like this, but I do know that each of its feet, I do want it to be able to hold a 2x2x4 thruster in there, and also probably some strafing and forward and reverse thrusters, plus the actual landing gear. So I'm going to start like here, and I'm just going to put a thruster there so I've got that kind of dialed in for the size of it. And I'm keeping symmetry on, so just in case there's like a right and left version, I'll be making those at the same time. But it might just be one version and it gets copied around, essentially. So to start with, I'm kind of on like a 2-block center position here with these thruster pods because I want to use this size thruster. Now keep in mind when you get this in game, you would also be able to put in littler thrusters there, so you don't have to like start with these bigger ones if you don't have a CPU and things like that. So that's a general idea. So right now, I'm just going to kind of block around this a little bit. I'm not exactly sure how big these legs are going to be, and we're going to try to make them look, I don't know, like they would be legs to a platform or something like that. I'm kind of burying the thruster here right now, just getting some block stuff going on in here. All right, so another thing that these are going to have too, and I probably ought to do that right off the gates, actually. Didn't think about that, but I want to get some landing gear stuff in here too. Let's go to about there on either side. Now keep in mind there's going to be 4 of these on the build in the 4 corners, but then there's going to be like a chassis, like a frame. I'm going to try to make it look like a frame to a bike or something like that when I actually do that part of it, and then build a platform and then interior space inside that platform for the actual base. I don't know if I am explaining it all that wonderfully or not, but that's the general idea here. So these are going to be feet. I kind of want them to look a little bit like they would kind of stretch out a little bit, like imagine like feet to like a mech or something like that. so it's got some stability to it. So I'm looking at some blocks here. Now I could go with some simple blocks here on the 4 sides, like something like that. Oops, not there. But say it had something like that on all 4 sides. It's kind of boring though. And I kind of wanted to play with some different blocks that came into the game to see if any of these could do something interesting here for this. There's a couple I had in mind, like these blocks here, that I think could look kind of neat for feet and a little bit different shaped than those other blocks there too. So maybe like something like that on the sides here. Let's just put these around all 4 sides here a second, and then we'll get the alt version. Or the left and right version, basically. Let's say alt. We'll just kind of start there. Kind of an interesting build though. Even like the stuff that goes onto the frame once that gets built, I kind of want that to be a bit modular, so I can like take pieces and slap it on here, and maybe have different configurations of it right off the gates too. Like there could be a main version, and then there's alternative versions. Okay, so the next block row up. Well, you know what? I'm jumping ahead a little bit too, because I'm not thinking about the other thrusters that I'm going to want on this thing yet either. And that's the thing. I wouldn't mind putting this size on, but man, those are going to be really hard to fit. Essentially, each thruster wouldn't need to have like right and left thrusters and forward and back. They just need one corner basically. So like this one up here being on the front, it could have like reverse thrusters and a one strafing thruster on it. Thing is these thrusters are just really big, and I didn't really want this thing to be gigantic, so I'm a little worried about how I could fit these in. However, it would be kind of nice to use the bigger parts in here. But let's say we had, let's see, I believe I'm looking at the front of the ship. Yeah, this is the front of the ship here. So this could be like a reverse thruster there. But then the problem is, how do I put in strafing thrusters, or do I just go with a smaller model for that? Again, this isn't really trying to be like a high-end build. It's something to get you going, and maybe you know, you can use it the entire game as your base style CV. Also, I want it to make it look like it's meant to go on planet surfaces and look like it would be something that you would deploy on the planet for whatever you're doing, a mining operation or whatever. So, all right, let me find some smaller thrusters. I'm just using the ion versions right now. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you know, for strafing, I want the forward and reverse to be bigger, but these other thrusters in here, I kind of almost want to go with smaller models, because I'm going to have a hard time fitting bigger ones in here for sure. But let's just say that each one of these legs had 2 strafing thrusters. So this has lift, like forward or reverse, and one side strafing. The only thing it's not doing yet is up and down thrusters. And maybe we'll try to get those in here too. Here, let's put in some shaped ones here. Now, this isn't a combat-oriented creation whatsoever, so I'm not really trying to make it tough or strong. I am building it out of steel, though, not carbon. Alright, so this looks like utter crap right now, but let's try to do some blocky things to it to make it look neater. This is going to be a little rough, though. These thrusters here, I actually want to back them off a block, too. Didn't want them. I kind of want to do something with the edges, so I can, like, kind of round it off or something. It's a little hard to do if I got a square thruster in its way. Alright, so here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a half round block. I think, you know, I wanted these to kind of stick out a little bit more than they are. I figure if I did something like that, I could do this kind of pattern here to give it a little bit more detail along the bottom. And I don't know how this is going to turn off. I'll probably need a lot of tweaking after I get the... this looks pretty dorky at the moment. gotta say. Yeah, okay. These blocks aren't cutting it here. Let's change this around even more again. I think I need to sprawl this out a little bit more, actually. So I'm going to go with a half block square here so I can add different pieces on the edges. And here we'll just get rid of that. Just not. Thought I'd try it, just not doing it for me though. Okay, so something like that. And now maybe I shouldn't try to make these uniform across all sides here, but alright. So now let's I want some like feet things that kind of come out from all four directions, or at least two directions, at least the outer side and this side here. Maybe not on the inside though. So let's look at some of these blocks. Maybe I'll just try to do one side, and then if I like it, I'll try to move that to the other sides here. Okay, so something like that. As part of it is I want this to look like it's kind of separated on the bottom here too. But uh-oh, what just happened? Oh no. It did its thing. Gosh darn it. It slid around because I think I ran into it. I don't know why, but somehow my ghost camera has collision sometimes on what you're trying to build. It pushes it around a little bit. Not a big deal, but kind of strange. Alright, so up here, let's try to put in a couple of these kind of backwards like that, maybe. And then we'll have this build up in here. Maybe I should reverse that too. Ain't gonna work. Just curious what that would look like, and then we could run some like trim blocks up over here. I really ought to get some carbon out too, for any deco type of things. Don't want to waste the weight, basically. Like if we already got a steel block over here, it's not. It's yeah. Then I'd probably just run this outer layer with something else. So let's try. For now, I'm just going to stick a couple of those there. Okay, so this isn't. Well, no, maybe it's those blocks that I'm not liking. If it did something like that instead, and maybe, yeah, maybe just some half blocks here. Or how about some half blocks with this, it's kind of going down like that. These are already half blocks in the front there. Alright. Let's do a little something on the front of this part here. Could probably also do that in carbon. What options do we have here? There are these things. Whoops. Yeah, well, some of these thrusters weren't so big, but again, I didn't want it to use the little thrusters, especially for forward and reverse. Those are the most two important directions, and you're going to want bigger thrust later on, especially if it has a reasonable amount of storage and things on it, or carrying around other creations, which this will probably do. That's another part of it too. It's going to have a big. It is a platform essentially, but it's going to have like a big deck on the top, as well as maybe under that platform. It may also have a module bay or something like that as well. Again, so we'll see how that works out. I don't exactly know yet. I'm just trying to come up with something that can look kind of neat on the front of this. Maybe I should focus on these side blocks first. See if there's something that can be done there. Now, I wouldn't mind utilizing some of these newer, rounder blocks because they do look pretty good, but lacking some options when it comes to them, though. But let's try it anyway. Let's put one of these here and on this side, and we'll try to wrap that around. And I guess for now, just do kind of a ring there. A little on the bulky side, but let's see if we can add in this stuff here on the bottom. These aren't going to work anymore. If I do that. Those there. Alright. Those aren't really working anymore. This is like part one of the build. It's kind of like being done in different parts. Like, once I get these done, I can start to work on the chassis. Or I might even start working on the chassis before these are done. Because there'll be a copy in place kind of thing anyway. But yeah, if I can use a lot of curves and things, it'll look less voxely as well, which is kind of something I wouldn't mind doing with it. It's just this strafing thrusters in here are not really jiving very well. I can't fit. I'd rather have them in the center, but I can't fit that because I've got another thruster there. These are 2 blocks long. I don't want to use the 1 block ones because they're just too wimpy of a thruster. Alright, so let's try to. I still want a divider row here. Somehow. But I can't match that same angle with any kind of half blocks or thin blocks or anything like that. So I've got to find a different solution here. Oh, and I can't put that over there because I'll block the thruster. Kind of got an idea. Alright, so I want to change this around a little bit. Might as well do it now before you get too far along. Just wanted to raise that up. I need to back it off 1, 2. Yep. Raise it. If I raise this top one up, and I forgot to back it off again. Can I? There's no blocks here. Tip block so I can kind of line this up. Okay, so we'll put that there instead. So that created another block row in between here. So then I could take these thrusters and push them in here instead. And I don't need them there. Which I think might help. Okay, so then I got to put down thrust back on here again too. Here, I'll go back to the actual part here. We'll use the shaped ones. Something like that. Now, of course, it's going to have some kinds of like drone defense and things like that on it too, so that is going to be part of it. Just not quite there yet with it. Just want to make this look neat. I got all these full blocks here. No, actually, there's landing gear down there. I wanted to make this look kind of interesting coming up here, but what can we do with instead of those blocks to get some kind of shaping into it? And again, I'll probably be using a lot of half blocks on this one too, for like industrial frame work. That'll be taking place a lot more once the chassis gets going. But let's try to run a couple of these up so we got that center kind of break up there. On the bottom, let's switch back over to carbon. And I'm curious if I expand this out, just kind of get some kind of side thing in here that looks alright, I guess. I don't know. If we had like that. That kind of, yeah, I kind of wanted that. I kind of wanted these, like, I don't know, toes or, like, things for stabilization on the sides. Not that it actually needs it, but just more of a decorative thing there. And over here, you know what? Let's swap those blocks out. Now, these don't need to be steel either. And I'm going to try to do some angly things here too with half blocks. Maybe something like that. It's kind of fragile looking, isn't it? So I kind of wanted to get some kind of angling going on in here, but I'm thinking, like, what blocks can we use for this? There's one other block. Maybe it could work here. I wanted to do it like that. And on the back, maybe do... Oh, I screwed that up. Alright, like that. Oh yeah, then it kind of matches the angle coming through there. Okay, so this part, the squarey thing in the corners, that's mainly because I'm using a half block here, and I've got nothing to, I can't put anything in the middle there, but I don't particularly like that. I kind of want that rounded off too, but how would that take place? Yeah, let's just do, well, is this protecting anything? I don't think so. The thruster's back there. Yeah, and again, I'm not too worried about its defenses right now, at least. Okay, so what block could we put in the corner here? Let's take a look at some options. There's this, which works. Let's see what other options we've got. That. If we go into the squarish looking blocks, there's this. Don't like that as much. Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of the squarey looking thing, but I'm trying to leave like a gap between the lower feet part and this part over here. And honestly, I don't think there's too much I could put here. I could experiment with some roundy blocks. So, like, there's this, which I don't think would look quite right there. But actually, that's not so bad, really. Huh? Yeah, maybe I'll try that. It's a little bold, but maybe it'll work. Kind of, it does go to a sort of a half, or it goes a little bit below that, but I think it's so small and minute that you're not really going to see that. And then, okay, these blocks. Oh, gosh darn it. I think I bumped into it again. That is so weird. I don't know why. I'm flying through. I can fly through the hall, but certain places you run into it at, it knocks the creation around. Like there's collision on your ghost camera that you're flying around with. I don't know how that works out, really. But I think this might look a little better here. And again, I'm trying to really embrace the curves and stuff to make it look as at least like voxel blocks as I can figure out how to do. Do worry that this front roundy area is a little bit on the thick side though, right now. Alright, so on here I'm going to steal some blocks and move some things around here. I think I will put inside stuff on here too. We're kind of doing what the back side was doing. Let's get rid of those two. And yeah, grab one of those. And then we're using these blocks on the sides. Okay, so now there's the back of the feet. Yeah, this area just looks a little too bloated right there. I like the curvy stuff, but it just looks a little too much. Okay, so here, yeah, a lot of this, I even did these in steel. Probably not the right material for that. Again, it's the inside. I'm going to try to make sure all the blocks around your interior space and anything important are going to be steel at least, but for trim stuff like this, it really doesn't make any sense to do it that way. Okay, so back, feet, things. God, maybe it should be the same formation though. Maybe I should just do the same thing. I know it's a little boring, but it does work. And then it would kind of keep it uniform for front and back legs, so I could use the same part throughout the whole thing, basically. Oops. That one. This one, yeah. Alright, and then up front here. I don't know if I like what I'm doing there either. I'm trying to find something that works here, but I mean the other option would be just to go straight and have a big divider thing there like that, which isn't so bad either. Did kind of like that brace in there though. Yeah, never mind. Let's undo that. So yeah, so if I don't like that little cut in there, I'm picky, I guess, really picky. If I'm gonna do it, I try to make it look nice, so I'm on board with it right off the gates here. So I used that piece last time, and that didn't quite work. What happens if we try to? I ain't gonna do anything right. Is there any other options at a half block size? Let's just take a look at some of this. These blocks are probably using a lot on this build too once I get into the chassis part here. Alright, well, anyway, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna... Oh. I'll just put those back for now. Maybe I'll find something else better later on. Let those sort of work. this. Alright, so next part here. The roundy part's cool, but I do think, again, it's a little too thick. Then again, if... Well, here, let's mess with that. To make it less thick and keep that same curve means I would have to start the curve sooner than I am right now. So it'd have to be something like that. Let's do one of those. Put those around this way. And we kind of do the same thing on the bottom here. Get rid of those. Definitely made it, yeah, that's a little bit better, so that's not so bulky there. Okay, so I can get on board with that. Okay, so these all go away too. Okay, already got those in there. Bottom ones. It's the same block up. No, it's not. Let's just do a little something here with the paint. Just paint everything so it's that color. You know what I'm going to do though? I'm going to paint the carbon one tone and then paint the steel a different color so I know what is what. That's something I haven't really done in the past, and I think it would just be helpful to know when you're building it. So we want to get a couple blocks in here. Well, that ain't right. No, that's not. Something wrong here. In the back. Huh. Okay, I think I just put the wrong block in there. It needs to be the thinner one. That one there, and we're missing a block here too, so let's take that one, put it here. Okay, pretty uniform right now, but when you think about it, if you were to copy and paste this and rotate it 90 degrees on each corner, it would all be right on all sides, and that's kind of the goal here. So all right, so we've got that going on. Now we got to build up the blocks going up the rest of this thing here, and figure out how this would best look here. Or let's try a really funky block here, and let's go back to steel too. Trying to make this like square inset here. What I worry about though, and all these blocks are kind of screwed with that, the UVs are going to be bad because I won't be able to paint the inside color different than the outside. It's Kind of sucks. Um, maybe it can still work all right. Okay, so going along the center here, I'm wondering if I shouldn't try to expand this out a little bit. Or go with a different curve. Or just kind of square it off here. That might work. Or not square it off, but kind of put a more of a rigid angle here. Instead. Kind of works. Go with curvy blocks here too. But I don't know, maybe that breakup will work. As I'm doing this, I thought of one other thing too. There's this. What if these were half blocks? I think we do have half block options here. Just do the front side and see how this comes out first. Oh, we're going to want to seal up that. Or are we? There's actually some detail back there with the top of that thruster. Kind of like a vent thing. Could add some really small trim on the front here too. So there actually is there's not a square or version of this block, but there is the half weird round block that is kind of interesting to work with. And what could we possibly put in the middle here? Not too many options at all for this. Yes, what we could really do is put in these. Just trying to get a little like trim there, but I don't like how that looks right there. Nah, I think it'll actually look better without any of those extra blocks. Alright. Okay, so now we're coming up to the thruster part here. I don't really want to try to accent it too much, but I want it to look better than it does now for sure. Let's put in a block there a second. I'm thinking what can go around here to look like some kind of thruster housing that isn't too bulky, and that's kind of the problem. Everything's bulky. If we go with the round, like the round thin blocks and things like this, or even the half blocks, it forces you to build a gigantic frame around it to do this. As you can kind of see here, I'd have to make all those blocks work. They would have to go up and around the thruster like that, which makes a really big area around it, and I don't want that on this build. Works with some builds. Done it before on some things, seen other authors do that too, but this one, no, it's like I want it kind of tight in here, but I want some kind of nice trim around the thruster that works with it. These down thrusters can probably change too. What if we just do a second row of these here? It's kind of like a double layer like that. And then maybe on the top we just kind of simplify this and oh wait, what if we try to go with these little roundy bits here? Something like that. And obviously the down thrust, we can move that again probably. Okay, so we got those. Let's what happens if we try to round this off up here? that. And let's get some of these in. Oh yeah, I need to swap out the lower row yet here. I'm trying to get a look at. I don't know. Got to think on how these are going to mount to the chassis too. I guess I'll have to figure that out once I start working on the chassis part of this. Kind of nice to have something pre-planned a little bit. Okay, so down thrust is gone. Needs to come back, but oh, everything's gonna look really bad. Okay, so let's get rid of the round there. Put these in place. How does that work? Not very good. Okay, so let's try to swap that one out with one that tapers in. I was probably most worried about the legs on this build because, these feet thing, because this is usually, it wouldn't be as bad if you didn't have to put all those thrusters in there, but when you got to work around the thrusters and make it all try to work, then it can get tricky for sure. So I'm wondering if I shouldn't try to round this top off. That is one option at least. Kind of is working. Here, I'm going to put it in some carbon again. Really want to be conscious of weight and everything too. It'd be kind of neat if this thing could get around without needing a lot of thrusters, at least early on. But I don't know how it's not going to be a tiny build, but it's not going to be gigantic either. It's somewhere in the middle. I expect it actually to be a little smaller than the Makar. Maybe. We'll see how that turns out. Alright, so I don't know. Maybe I should, on the top here. Well, this could be kind of interesting. Let me try something. The idea would be to try to put an arm or something on here too, to attach to the thrusters, or like a shock or something like that. I think that would look kind of cool too. What am I doing? It's not even the right part. Oh, wait a minute. There's not a right part, is there? Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I would have to curve that up like this, which is probably okay. The oddball design here. I don't mind it though. Really sucks that we don't have the block for this. Like we can't match that angle right there with any block in the game. We can only bevel outward. Well, anyway. Okay, so here let's sever this beam that comes out here for now. Alright. I think it's going to need some mounting on it, which I hope makes it look better than it does now. I hope. So that's, I think that would be helpful. these in there for now too. And I'm missing, I gotta copy some blocks from this side. Let's do this thing over here too. I'm just looking that up. Boring flatness. Let's go up top. Yeah, there's these blocks. Okay. You know this. Okay, so if you're gonna have these legs, and let's just say, for instance, that there's some shocks in here and stuff. It doesn't really look like it right now, but yeah, maybe I'll try to work out that too. But how would you take this and mount it up to a chassis? I guess. All right, let's. We got two legs on the sides there. All this could get moved around too, but let's start working on some kind of chassis. Now, qualifications of the chassis. I want it to be high enough off the ground, so on the lower side of the landing platform, which is going to be probably up above here yet. Let's try to figure that out. So let's just say, try to keep it as tight as possible, but let's just say that up here is a platform, like a big old landing pad up here. It's probably gonna, but I kind of want it to kind of cut around where these are. So let's just try to figure this out a little bit here. Let's say we did angle there. Weird creation, that's for sure. Again, this is just kind of having fun. I wanted to try something different, you know. This isn't even the way I normally build a build. I usually start it differently. Don't start with like doing one of these. But then again, I fear these the most. Worst part of the build for me. So if you can get that out of the way right off the gates, it's just a good thing, basically. All right, so what I want to do here is bring this out a little bit more and kind of get a bevel angle happening here. I don't know if a lot of this should have been built out of carbon, although it's going to have some interior space down in here below this area, so maybe steel's the best option here. But I will do the outer edges with the this, because I don't think they're going to cover anything on the inside. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like how that platform's looking at all, actually. Okay, redesign. It's this is supposed to be all half blocks too, and not full blocks that I'm doing here. It'd be really cool if you could do like angles. If there was some more like 45-degree angle blocks. If you do angles, you're pretty much restricted to like say I want to do a 45, which is easier to do than a 22.5. You'd have to kind of use something like this to build something out. Have to be right there. Eh. Tricky build. Okay, but anyway, don't like this. Don't like what's going on here at all. So I'm just going to get rid of that. That is not what I was going for. It's not really making it work the way I wanted this to. Kind of wonder if I should just ignore these pieces and build the frame. I had better ideas for that. But when I'm trying to go around this, right now at least, it's being kind of strange. Or should the frame go above those? Maybe it doesn't even have to go at a 40. It doesn't have to do a 45, basically. I'll move the legs later. So try to plan out. Oops, keep on slopping blocks down all over the place by accident here. All right. Okay, so what I'm trying to accomplish here is I want this not to be like on a 2D thing, but I want it to like kind of come down with some big old beams and stuff. A lot of like support chassis stuff. You might see on like a construction vehicle or something. Kind of the general idea, at least. I just got to figure out how it's going to work. And we're okay. So we got a solid flat area, which is one block on the top. So let's just say over here we want to do some angling and kind of mess with this a little bit here. Let's just say it went down a couple. Now this go away. Yeah, okay, let's bring this, this front part out a little bit more. It's actually becoming kind of big. It's probably going to be a little bit skinnier too. It's I don't know yet though. We'll see. We'll see how that comes out later. All right, so we'll say we got that, and let's flatten this out here. I guess for now, carbon. I don't know how far I want this to be going. Again, it's supposed to look like a platform in the end, and not so much like a spaceship. But it will have a some kind of built-in bridge kind of thing, and it might, you know, if I get ambitious enough, it might have some asymmetrical aspects to it as well. Just haven't really gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with that later. Okay, let's just say these are kind of coming up across the front now, and maybe up here it should also drop. Steel's fine there. At least it should be a little bit color coded in the end here, so I'll know what's steel and what's carbon, so I can fix whatever I gotta fix later. One down there. I gotta match the angles here. Did I go too far down? I went too far down. Oh, that's alright. Obviously, these got to move and fit in there better. I wonder if I should do that now or... Okay, now one other thing, and again, I might try to, like, okay, there's going to be a landing deck up here still, and this might not be part of the landing deck, these blocks here. That might be just part of the framework. Now, landing deck gets put on top of this area, but it would be kind of neat to be able to fit in a module underneath the landing deck. You'll still have the top side to land larger creations on, but let's bring in some kind of module. I usually bring in the M2 because it's got that lip on it, so I can make sure but I really want a lightweight. Oh my god, the modules are big, aren't they? Just wanted to see how wide this is. Can it already fit a module within this area here? Let's say you're pulled up to around somewhere around this height range here. Just see how that looks width-wise. Okay, so that actually easily fits in the side walls. That's what I was looking at. How far this is going out versus how wide the module is. Might even be wider than it needs to be out here. Okay, so that's good to know. So I technically bring that in probably 2 blocks per side and still have wiggle room there. Alright, let's do a little chopping, cutting, and pasting basically. Just go somewhere. There we go. Turn off. Alright, so to start with, let's move the legs inward and on either side and try to get those fit better. Now later on, I'll just, at one point, once I feel like I'm happy with the leg, I'll paint one, try to put a lot of time and effort into painting it, and then I'll be able to copy it around to the rest of them, so I don't have to paint all of them. I will have to correct texture problems on all of them, but I won't have to paint them individually at least. All right, so let's do a cut. Oops, didn't get everything there. I'll paste it again. Let me fix my box. Not sure how I missed that. But let's just make this one block bigger anyway. Okay. We got this part. I wanted to bring that in at least a couple. Oh, we got this other part there. That's alright. I guess there. Do I want to adjust its front or back? Nah. Okay, so we moved it in 2 blocks. What the heck is going on now? Why did this break? What's happening? Oh, maybe those blocks are attached to the platform. And oh my goodness. That's why I usually like to build this stuff in space, but I hate the lighting so bad that I didn't want to be in space to do it. Alright, so I'm going to move this box over to the other side here. We'll copy this one. I think it just was moved in 2 blocks. I gotta fix up some things here. Let's be quick. Alright. Alright, so now we're going to do something a little bit bold here. I'm going to try to fix up some of this crazy, though. Let's go down here. These blocks are like part of the wrong thing. Used to screw that up when I built the chassis part, or the frame holder piece. Put this back in place here. Alright, so now what I want to do is we're going to chop the whole front of this, and we're going to mirror it to the other side. Well, probably rotate it around to the other side here, so let's do another selection. Let's give it a little room. Let's start about here. Oops. Let's grab a couple more of those there. And a pretty screwy build here. And I want to do something different on this build, though. Just have fun, make something interesting. But at the same time, you know, I was gonna do something really crazy, like some kind of strange castle building thing that didn't have much function. But then I was like, man, I kind of want something. You know, whatever I build, I kind of want it to be like something I would want to bring in the game too. Otherwise, it seems kind of wasteful. But it's fun. But yeah, at the same time, kind of wasteful. So. Anyway, we're going to paste that. What I'm going to do this time, it is kind of the same on both sides, so I'm going to rotate this, and we're going to drag it to the other side here, and try to figure out how long we want this thing. I kind of wanted it a little bit more rectangle, but I want it to feel proportional, and again, be a platform. Let's bring that back a couple blocks there, and I don't really care what's going on with that inner frame thing. In fact, that's probably going to go bye-bye pretty soon. Alright, let's just start the... We can always move it again later. Whoa! What did I just do? No. Undo. Oh, thank goodness. I thought I had it. Oh, I hit remove selection. I meant to remove... Yeah, I hit this. Whoops. That's always scary. Okay, so let's just fix this up a little bit and get rid of that crappy looking chassis thing down there. That's really screwing things up, actually. So let's steal the core. Just put it up top here for now. I do have to remember what side is the front, though. Well, it's obviously, yeah, it's same direction as the Plutus in the back. Just makes me nervous having all this down here, and like it could flop around on me or something. And it sort of fell to the ground a little bit, partially. One side of it. Alright, well, anyway. this beam here too. And yeah, the chassis, I definitely want it to look kind of industrial. Right now, I'm kind of steering again towards like human texture color paint, but I'm not sure. I really kind of want to do a one-off one, or kind of go with more of a, I don't know, satisfactory kind of look or something like that to it. Industrial orange or yellow or whatever shade that is. All right, let's get some other little things here fixed up. And on that side, I wish I could move this and park it. I probably could. Let's get it so this thing can at least like move a little bit, at least temporarily. So I'll just give it some blocks here. I'm going to need a few parts. Going to need a one of these. Let's put away some stuff. Oh, the trash button's still working. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure I'll break it after this. Let's see what else we're going to need. We actually have 6 direction thruster in here, or thrusters already, so we're just going to need a generator and a seat and fuel tanks. I need those. Oh, not that big of a generator. Just a little one. Too large, yeah. Go away. Hey, trash button still worked. I'm just waiting for it to break. It will break. I swear it will break. Unless that bug got fixed. That would be amazing. Okay, front is going this way. And we just need fuel. Get about a couple of these. Good enough. Alright. Can I have fuel on me? Yes. Alright, we got a functional spaceship. No, I'm kidding. Again, this one would come without all the thrusters and stuff, so you put them in after the fact. But I just wanted to be able to park this on the ground. See if it can flatly sit. It seems to be doing a weird wobbly thing. Like, there's something wrong here. What am I missing? Oh, I'm missing landing gear. On 2. Oh. Okay. I see what's happening. Let's get those in place. Must have not copied on one of the sides there. Well, that's a start. It's kind of doing the layout I was thinking about. Not precisely. Needs some tweaking for sure. Here, let's paint the rest of this carbon, the brighter color, and the steel. Guess I don't even know anymore. But yeah, I got a lot more to work out on this. And this is probably not going to come down like it is on the back. Again, it would be kind of neat if you have a landing deck that will probably be above this by another block at least, and then you'll be able to park, kind of like the Makar, I guess. Park a module in the back, have a big landing deck on the top, but then it might have some asymmetrical thingies going on with it as well, and then also I don't know, have some kind of interior space with some kind of like cockpit area that's might be offset to one side or the other or something like that. I don't know yet. Got to figure the rest of that out. So interior space, what I'm thinking too, which would be different than what the Makar was doing. Now the Makar had a hangar in it. This one I don't think is going to. Instead, I will try to work out some docking platforms for HVs that you can, like, again, put on the underside here somewhere. I mean, I could always explore the idea of trying to build some kind of ramp mechanism to get you all the way to the top side if you're driving an HV, but there's just not ramps that are big enough, and then you got to build out a lot of stuff to make that happen. And I'm not so sure if that's going to be feasible or not. But yeah, anyway, it's kind of a start. And I'm following, part of this design too was a little bit on how the Gigacore was built. The Gigacore was built the same general way, where I started building a thruster housing, and then I copied that around to the rest of the creation, and then started building the rest of the ship around it. And so this one's kind of doing that, but instead of being like a late game, not late game like expensive creation. This one's just trying to be like a player base. You can spawn it in pretty cheap early game without needing much in resources. Again, it wouldn't have thrusters or anything like that. And then pop in all the parts, get it airborne, and then do your thing, and then be able to carry around a bunch of stuff with you. So again, very similar functionality to the Makar, and in a lot of cases the Janus as well, but just a different looking thing. But when it does sit on the ground, I wanted it to really look like it's a base and not a spaceship. So I mean, when you're flying this around in space, it's going to look like you're flying a big old platform that you're moving to another place, another planet or something like that. It's not going to look as much like a spaceship as the Makar does. But anyway, that's a good start. I'm going to try to do a video every day on this until I get this one done. I want to know, and we'll keep on moving in from there. It's often nice when I'm doing these things, though, to like build some of it, take a good look at it, try to figure out what you're going to work on next, and plan it out a little bit. So I just wanted to get like something so I could visualize the general idea of what I'm going for first, and then try to work out the design and figure out how everything's going to connect and things yet. So other than that, you all have yourself a good day, and I will talk to you later.